finally time. We are pulling the divider on the 4,500 gallon. I've been waiting a long time for this, and I know there's a bunch of you guys have been waiting a long time for this. Really want to see this, and I do too. So we're going to be pulling the divider tonight in this video. We're going to see the grow outs, who are pretty darn grown out these days, and the big boys. They're going to finally meet in person. No divider in between them. We're going to see them intermix together. We're going to see everyone cruising the whole tank. As soon as I get that divider out, I'll pop the top back on, grab the camera. We'll see it happen all together, as live as it can be. But you'll be seeing it right as I'm seeing it, right as it's happening. That divider will be out, and you'll be seeing it 5 seconds later. So it should be interesting. And then we'll take some more footage later on, show you that everyone's swimming the whole tank, the whole 33 feet. Poor guys on this side have been cooped up at only 16 and a half feet, and the poor guys over here have been cooped up at 16 and a half feet, so they finally get the full run of the place. As well as there's been some work on Predator B3000, so of course I'm going to show you that. We are getting very interesting over there. It's getting very close, but lots of good stuff happened there. Of course, there's going to be some work on the 1,200 gallons, double DIY 1200s, and we're going to get those lights all sorted out. I'll talk about all that, but yeah. Let's go. Well, you know the old saying, when you're setting up a shark tank in a mangrove estuary, if 3,000 pounds of sand isn't enough, go get another 1,000 pounds of sand. Time for a little more aquarium fit. Well, after a couple days of Predator Bay 3000, it's definitely cleared up some. You can see the back wall there and everything, and more funny, or more hilariously, you can see that 2,500 pounds of sand didn't do all that much. Now keep in mind, the tank goes down 2 inches below this level here, so when you get over here, it's probably 4 or 5 inches deep of sand, so that can be pushed back, and it's pretty thick in the front, as well as it's on both sides. So here's the other half of it, but as you can tell, not nearly enough sand, so let's go around back and see what we got. Alright, so of course we got more sand. As you can imagine, it's not so easy to get pool filter sand in the middle of the winter because not a lot of people are working on their pools. But fortunately for me at BRS, this Carib Sea sand was on sale big time. So I have 20 boxes of 40 pounds. So we're going to go ahead and add this in from the back instead, since the other stuff was added from the front. And so we're going to add all this in, and then we'll see how it is, and probably have to get in there and mix it up. And I'm smart, and I waited a few days because when we pumped in that water from outside, it's probably in the 60s. But now that it's been in there for a few days, it'll warm up to the temperature of the basement, so I won't freeze my butt off. And of course, we did put a lot of sand in the estuary here. So all the way down, we have sand added to the estuary. So this was 500, yeah, I believe 500 pounds of the 2,500 went in here. So 500 of the place or pool filter sand went here, and actually 2,000 pounds went into the big tank here. All right, let me get this in here and we'll take a look. That albino just keeps getting chunkier and chunkier looking. Not afraid of the camera anymore at all. Really putting on the size. I think he's trying for a fourth feeding today. I think he's ready. Also, I think I need to fill up some water in here, but just wanted to show you. Getting big. Can't wait for this guy to be in the 4,500. What a beaut. So before I pull that divider and we mix these guys with these guys, we got to fix this lighting. So we all know having the issue with the wanting to run the Higers on an on-off mode, but they want to do their own thing. There were a couple people in comments last video that were kind enough to explain exactly how to set the Higers up for the on-off mode, which I did, but unfortunately, once they lose power, they lose those settings as well. And ultimately, what I'm trying to do with them is like an on-only mode, and then let the timer cut the power. But again, they lose the settings, so it's no good. So what we're going to do is we're going back to the original plan. We're going to space out the night crews. So there'll be one night crew on each section in the back, and then there'll be one Higer Pro in the front, and we're going to let the Higer Pro, we're going to take it off the timer, and we're going to let it run on its 24-hour mode. So that'll be fine. that's kind of what we're stuck with. But before we pull this divider, so we want to get the lights all redistributed. We'll get that all done. But before we pull the divider, I got a new scraper here. So this guy here, gonna try this flipper blade thing, and we're gonna clean up the glass. And surprisingly, this is really the only growth on this glass in all this time since this tank's been running. It's done very well. Well, that riverbank back there has done very well at reducing nitrates and limiting algae growth, as you don't see much on the rock or anything. But there is a little bit on the glass, and I think before we pull the divider and get all that footage, we should go ahead and get all of that cleaned off, and we'll have a better video when we pull that divider. And then also, I got the big ladder out here because somewhere back in this jungle is a power strip, and yeah, we're gonna find it, and we're gonna relocate the power cord for the lights so we don't go on the timer. So I'll get that found and figured out, and get this glass cleaned off, and then we'll get the divider pulled on this thing. So you can see Predator Bay is looking nice and clean all the way across there as far as the water, but we don't have enough sand. To get our 3-inch base, 3,000 pounds wasn't enough. Now this little part here is well over 3 inches, but there's a lot of shallow parts back there. So we need another 1,000 pounds of sand. Just want to show you the tank real quick with it cleared up, because I do have another 1,000 pounds of sand right here. And as soon as I put that in tonight, it's going to get all clouded up. We'll swing around back and check out the estuary, which is looking really nice all the way down. And I can't wait actually to get this sucker going, because I have some baby fish for this tank that I can either grow them out in the tub or I can grow them out in the estuary. I'd rather grow them out in the estuary. But oh, and also I have a plan for the mangroves. I found something I think will work good. So I'm excited to get those guys moved over as well. But in the meantime, we're pretty thick over here on sand. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but over here we're real nice and thick. A little bit of thin spot in the middle, then we're thick again. So I think maybe just 100 pounds of sand for the estuary, and the other 900 pounds of sand will go up here in the main tank. And then of course, once that sand's in, I'll check the levels down here. What I do is as I fill the tank up with some more sand, I displace a little bit of water, so I pump it out. So we'll check how that is. Get the sand in there, and then I'll start doing the salt, because with all this water, I don't want to pump out any, because it's all the temperature and everything like that. Comes in cold from the well. So I will get the sand in, get it all leveled out, and then start putting salt. So we are getting super close. And again, while the system is maturing and everything, I'll start working on the back here. So I need to do a little bit of work up top with a crossbar for the tops, because there'll be tops on the tank and tops on the estuary. But there's a little work to do up here. There's some painting to do and everything. So plenty of work to get done while the tank is clearing up again, and while the salt is mixing in, and we get the ecosystem fired back up. And of course, I still have a ton of material to put into the sump, biological material, but we're starting to get that. Once it turns salt water, we'll get the sump all stocked, add the bacteria, and then we're rocking and rolling. So we are very close to Predator Bay 3000 coming online. What do you think? Predator Bay 3000 by Christmas? That would be cool. All right, after spending more time than I cared to up there in the jungle, I've got the cords all rerouted, and we've got the Hiker lights on their timers and the night crew on my timers. So hopefully that'll work out. And this is the last look at the Xingu River Aquarium with the big divider in there. So we've got the 3 big Oscars over here, and we have 2 peacock bass. We got Fogo back there, and an Orinoco somewhere over there. And we're getting ready to mix them with all the grow outs. So Tiger Silver Nose, the other species of Oscars, arowana, the Xingu River peacock bass, all the silver dot, or the red hooks and wide bars. All the bad boys over here, and the flagtails. So we're getting ready to turn this into one big, long aquarium. All right, here goes nothing. I'm gonna put the camera down. I'm gonna pull that divider out, and we're gonna experience it together. This is a big one. I've been waiting a long time for this. The 4,500 gallon is finally going to be whole. Man, I can't wait to see these guys swim in the distance. All right, here goes. All right, the divider is out. I messed up one of the lights, but I don't want to miss filming all these guys checking each other out, so I had to whip out the camera. All right, so we've got the Fogo over here on the right. All seems very calm. Let's see who else has got on there. We got the albino Oscars. Let's see who went this way. So the big Oscar, he's staying over here, but I think I saw the tiger shovelnose just went into a cave. Oh no, there he is back there. There's the Xingu pike. It was in the caves over there. So we've got the Xingu and the tiger shovelnose over here. Oh, here's the arowana coming over to the other side. Very cool, very cautious. Another light's out over here in the process of pulling that out. Somehow messed up a light, but don't want to miss any of this action. Let's go. Looks like most of the guys are down here. A couple of the Xingu bass. Looks like they were getting ready to check it out until I put a camera in their face. This is very cool. So cool seeing these guys use the whole tank. What's going on down here? Arrow cruising up there. Of course, all the wide bars and flagtails, a little more cautious. Looks like the Fogo thinking about coming over. Let's see. That's really the question: is the Fogo aggressive to those guys? Definitely give them a little bit of a look, but nothing too crazy. And there's the 3 Xingus. So far, so good. A meeting of all the Oscars over here. We got the big wild Venezuelan, the 2 albino reds, and the bumblebee Oscars. 2 of those guys back there. Everybody looking good. Very, very cool. Sort of pop back out here. And oh, there's the arrow cruising the length of the tank. Yeah, the silver arrow has definitely put on a lot of size since it's been in the 4,500 gallon. Looking beautiful. And this is cool over here. So this is the side where we have all the caves, so it'll be cool to see the catfish and the pike over here. Now the pike used to be over here, so he's familiar with these caves. You can see him going in one right there. And the big tiger shovelnose cruising the tank. And there's the pike coming out the other side down there. It's nice to get the guys over here on the left who actually appreciate all the cave complexes instead of being stuck over here on the right where there's no caves. But very cool. Very peaceful so far. Everybody milling around. I'm loving it. Oh, it's gonna be so nice every day now coming in here. It's everybody swimming everywhere. And it's kind of funny too, now they're just all over here on the right, and you essentially have all that just empty right now. They're all sort of packing together. Beautiful. I can see on the Fogo there, he's definitely lit up a little bit. Definitely given the wide bars over there the mean mug, but no attacks or anything yet. Just exerting dominance. Big old arrow. That's one of the cool things, seeing the arrow being able to cruise the whole distance. And big Oscar giving him a look. Nothing too serious. Let's see what the arrow thinks. So down here we got the most water coming off of the waterfall there. And he's basically just looking at the camera. getting trailed by the big Oscar. But I think size-wise, I don't see any issues. The closest thing to an issue is the large Fogo with the red hooks. And this female Fogo was not nearly as aggressive as the male, so that definitely sped things up a little bit. Man, that is cool having that open up right there. You don't realize how much the divider kind of sort of blocked, I mean, visually blocked it. I mean, obviously it physically did, but it changed the way that whole area looked. I guess what would happen, right, all the fish would get to this area here, and they'd slow up and stop. They, wouldn't be swimming through, so they had a different interaction altogether. So, very, very, very cool. All right. And of course, these guys being cautious down here. Super cool. 4,500 gallon finally opened up. Some of those wide bars are getting definitely pretty beefy. What's blocking him up? Oh, the big Oscar. So it's kind of funny, even though these guys were all together, these three Oscars here over on the left side before the divider, now that it's been opened up, it's almost like the big guy's got to sort of reassert himself again and be like, just so you guys know, just because we have more space, I'm still in control here. I'm still the boss. And you got a lot of room to swim, my friend. Lots of room to swim. Very cool. It's going to be interesting doing the first feeding with the whole group together. I'll give these guys some time to continue to get used to the new surroundings, and then we'll give them a feeding. Oh, this is cool. These guys have never been on this side of the tank. They were pure grow outs, so they were only in the grow out tank on that right side. So we got some exploring to do. All right, that is literally the first moments of unifying the 4,500 gallon. We'll give these guys some time to settle in, and then we'll give them a feeding. All right, time to add some more sand, hopefully for the last time. This will be the last time I have to get the water clear again. We're getting close. All right, let's get the sand in there. So all the new sand is in Predator Bay 3000 and the mangrove estuary, and I'm very confident there's enough sand now, but it's obviously all stirred up. And let me take you around back and show you why it hasn't cleared up even faster than it has. This has just been overnight, but let me grab the old C-Chase sump pump here. So we're around back here, and the reason is because the sump is too full. This is higher than what the sump is built to run at. So what's happening is those pads need to be above the water level, so that's going to catch all this stuff. So you can see a lot of it's just running off and foaming up over here. It's essentially just dirt from the sand, or dirtiness from the sand, whatever. So at any rate, what I need to do is put the sump pump in here and I'm going to go ahead and drain it down a little below the operating level because I'm going to be adding a lot of salt. So that's going to do the same thing the sand did and displace a bunch of water and raise the water level up. So I'm going to get that pumped down, and then those pads over there will be able to start doing their job, which is catching all this particles over here so it just doesn't end up in the main part of the sump. So this is actually the next day since removing the divider, because it got late and the lights went out last night. But I can tell you, you saw what originally happened, and from that point until when the lights went out, it was basically more of the same, just slow exploration. The crazy thing has been, so obviously it had the same effect as when I moved the fish over from the 3000. So whatever little bit of squabbles were going on, either on the right side of the aquarium or on the left side of the aquarium, they just evaporated once the tank was opened up. Everyone just got very chill, very peaceful, and just doing what you see here, just all cruising back and forth the entire length of the tank. Which is kind of funny because, I mean, they each had 16 feet of tank, so you think that would be plenty, but apparently to have tranquility with these guys, you need 33 feet of tank. And the other funny thing was the arowana. So the fish that just absolutely acted completely differently was the arowana. The arowana has been cruising the length of the tank the whole time, pretty much nonstop. And the thing they're doing, the arowana is doing quite differently, is coming way down deeper into the water column than before, not just standing all the way at the top the whole time. So that has been awesome to see. In fact, if we come down here, you can see the arrow way down in the water column, and he's been doing that all the time consistently now, whereas before, you know, he's always at the top. So between cruising the entire tank and spending a lot more time down low like that, that and the fish all basically becoming even more relaxed. It's not like these guys were in here, you know, fighting or anything like that, but there'd just be that little bit of stuff. But now they've just been completely, I guess, mesmerized by having the whole tank. It seems, I know it seems ridiculous that removing a divider on such a big tank has such a massive feel to it. It doesn't, it just doesn't seem like it should. It seems like it's already a giant tank if you just take either side of it, but somehow removing that, it just opens it up, and it totally changes the dynamic of the tank. And I don't mean just for me. For me, seeing different fish over on different sides is definitely cool. Seeing them utilize all the rock aquascape over here, going in the caves and everything, a lot more is very cool. But just the fish themselves, the interactions amongst the fish changes completely. So it's pretty bizarre that already such a big tank that you would see that. I could see, like, if you were taking little fish from a, I don't know, like monster fish from a 125 gallon and putting them in a 1,000 gallon or something, you know, you'd expect that, but not such a large tank. But they totally are acting like that with these changes. The other interesting thing has been the bass. I wasn't sure how the meeting of the bass was going to work. You know, how are the three Xingus, the Fogo, and the Orinoco going to get along? But they seem like they're fast friends. You know, they're all just been hanging out a lot together. The Orinoco's back to his old favorite spot underneath the dock. He wasn't able to get to that for a while. So it's good to see that back opened up to him. And I would say the fish that has cared the least has been the tiger shovelnose. Originally went over and he checked out those caves and everything, and he does occasionally swim the length of the tank. But he seems like he's kind of got his spots that he likes over here on the right side, and ultimately ends right back up in those spots. The Oscars, all the Oscars, they were always chill with each other, and they're still chill. It's still the same groups. The two albino reds stay together. Big Boy stays by himself, just going from person to person, or fish to fish, trying to menace them. And then, of course, the Bumblebee Oscars, they always stay together like they always have, but and they basically just spend different times in different parts of the tank. So they'll be over here for a while, and then they'll move to the next section, so on and so forth. The pike cichlid, the Atabapo, he's definitely loving the caves again. He's been all over. He's kind of like the arrow, where he's utilizing the space the most, which has been cool. And I would say the Fogo kind of seems indifferent, just still doing, you know, what the Fogo does. Doesn't really worry about anybody. It seems like the fish who were kind of like the big boys, you know, they didn't really care what any other, you know, fish were doing to begin with. They seemed at least bothered by it. They're just doing what they do. But some of the other guys really opened it up for them. So it has been awesome. At any rate, I don't know why opening up a divider on such a big tank has such a effect, but it really does. Like, for me, watching the tank, seeing the fish swim the entire length, seeing everyone spread out everywhere, it's definitely added to the enjoyment. Kind of makes me wonder how I put up with the divider as long as I did, but really I wanted to make sure those wide bars and the silver dollars over here weren't going to get predated on by the bass. So sometimes you have to do what you have to do for the better good, even though I am super happy to have the divider removed. This guy's the funniest. He's just like lost. He's just by himself, just goes from spot to spot. Anytime he passes a fish, he'll like give him that little mouthing menace kind of thing like he's doing right now. He won't really bother him. He's just like, I'm the big guy, get away. And everyone just scoots out of the way, and then that's it. Then he's just back to cruising around again. He's a trip. All right, well, let's have a little fun. Let's go to the far end over here and we'll throw some food sticks in and see if these guys go for it. Okay, I just threw some food in the waterfall on the far left. Everybody was over here with me on the right. I think they're starting to smell it. You can see them coming over. Usually, once somebody starts hitting the food, that's what's going to attract everybody, especially the bass. But I think they definitely smell it in the current. And yeah, here we go. We got starting to, well, I thought we were getting hits there. Yeah, here we go. Everybody rising up. Seems like food's over here. Here we go. Arrow, Oscar's got some. Bass are up there. And then here comes the cleanup crew with all these messy eaters. You gotta have these wide bars and plecos and all these guys to eat up all those crumbs, keep the tank clean. I love that. Doing the work for me and looking beautiful while doing it. And the bumblebee Oscars, they seem to have found the food on the other side of the tank. But here's a great example. I mean, anyone who keeps these fish knows that's why you gotta have those cleanup crew guys. And I think some people mistake when I say cleanup crew that I mean algae, but I mean foodstuffs. I mean chunks of food like that. And a whole bunch of plecos and silk wide bars and red hooks and those kinds of guys, and red flagtails. They're awesome at cleaning all that up. After they eat, you'll see the flagtails just going along the bottom, you know, mouthing all the gravel. So it works out really well. Plus, you see the wide bars. They'll go down there and pick it up right off the substrate. So I can't imagine. Even the tiger shovelnose, as big as he is, he'll hoover up all the crumbs too. I mean, he eats big pieces, but he also eats the crumbs, eats everything. So it definitely helps having these guys in here. And I love the look too. One of the things that originally attracted me to saltwater was that you could keep a giant angel, like, you know, giant fish with little fish, you know. Like you could have a giant French angel in there with like a little, you know, 2-inch goby or something, you know. Where in freshwater you couldn't typically do that. But I like here having, you know, these big boy bass and arowana, but then also able to have, you know, flagtails, wide bars, red hooks, those kinds of things, and plecos with their armor. So I love the. To me, it looks so much more natural versus just having a tank with a couple really large fish in it. Obviously, I go for the natural look. It's important to me to have the nature filtration and the aquascaping, the wood, the rock, the sand, the gravel. You know, the whole environment working together. Not just a like an empty sterile tank with big fish swimming around in it. And a couple more guys doing a little cleaning. It's actually kind of a trip too. The Atabapo pike, he'll also eat little pieces off the ground. He doesn't care. I mean, that's probably why he's so fat, because he literally eats everything. But and then you can see here's a pleco over here doing his job, cleaning up the excess food. It's funny too, I got these common plecos. I got two types of common plecos, and they're actually put in here as only a couple inches. And I figured with all the rock work and coming out at night, they would be good. And that's exactly what happened. They obviously have all gotten big. And it's cool because I thought I had two, but I think I have three, because there's a couple ones that look very much different than the others. So that is very cool. I'm trying to think how big this tiger shovelnose is now. It's getting pretty sizable. You kind of appreciate it. I think a lot of people don't see that the tank is 5 feet front to back, but you know, this tiger shovelnose here, he's, I don't know, easily 1.5 feet, and you can see how he just fits in that first tiny little section, and there's just so much more. Oh, but yeah, the arowana cruise in the tank and coming down, that's been my favorite so far. And I cannot wait to add that albino arrow to this tank, as well as some other fish. I know there's, you know, a lot of times people suggest, you know, like they see that really the tank isn't full or anything. They have suggestions of fish, which I do appreciate, but I've got a few on my mind. Obviously, we know I'm growing out the albino arrow, but there's definitely some other fish that I love that I will be growing out to add to here. I'll keep it a surprise. but they're definitely really cool fish, especially a couple that I had in the 3,000 gallon. So if you go watch the old videos, you'll know what some of them are, just because I've had them before, and I really love them. All right, the divider is gone. The 4500 is, I would say, official now. So it's grown in enough that you know, it takes a long time for a tank this size to get mature, but we're finally there. There's always going to be tweaks going on and new fish from time to time, but yeah, this is it. This is the 4500 gallon divider removed. This is we're in the new stage of the 4500 gallon. I'm loving it. Oh man, I think I was probably geeking out pretty hard on the 4500 gallon, but hey, that's honestly how I feel. It was a long time, took a lot of effort, a lot of time to build that thing, and quite honestly, until the divider was pulled out, it wasn't really done. I had to wait a long time, and I kept dreaming about what it was ultimately going to look like, and to be honest with you, it met my expectations, didn't exceed them. So I apologize for the super geek out there, and probably no one's watching this. After that, I'm sure they turned the video off, but if you are actually making it to this point in the video, throw something in the comments so I know you're actually one of the diehards with this hobby. You love this hobby, you love this stuff, just like I do. So let me know. I have a feeling I know who some of you are, but I'm sure there's others. So leave me a little something in the comments. Right now, the sump is pumping out on the 3,000 gallon, and it just hit me. I thought my aquarium fit was over with all the sand, but I still have to put the salt in there. So the 200 gallon buckets, which weigh like, I don't know what, they weigh a lot. And I'm gonna need, you know what, 25 of them in there. Yeah, so I still have quite a bit of a workout to do, but that's what's gonna happen, is we're going, you know, fast track on Predator Bay 3000 like we have been. This water will get cleared up real quick. The sand is fine, it's gonna get moved around. The salt is going in, the filter media is going in, and I'm pretty sure the next video I'll be in my bathing suit swimming around in there, because I don't know any way to aqua shape that thing without getting in there. So that's gonna be fun. For the first time, I'll either have to set the camera back or get a camera person or something. We'll see how it goes. At any rate, I got a bunch of shelf rock and everything. I've had a bunch of base rock. I have a bunch of rock that's going at me. So it's going to be a pretty awesome scape, I believe. I've been drawing it out I've iterated through it on paper a bunch of times, and I have something that I think is going to look cool, but also really fit the occupants, big sharks. So something where you can have a 4 or 5 foot shark swimming through caves and things that are built for their size, but that look natural within the scape. That's what I'm going for on it, and hopefully that's what we're going to see in the next video. I'm pretty sure we will, because it's full speed ahead on that. And then lastly, I'm back working on the 1,200 gallons again, so we're going to start seeing progress on that, because I got an African cichlid tank, you know, the sump that still leaks on my floor. They got to get to their new home. The new Amazonian islands needs to get started, and there's some fish going to the Amazonian islands that are fish I know you guys love. I love that. Some people thought might have been going to the 4,500, but there's a lot of fish coming for a bunch of tanks, and I just need to get these things done so I can get those guys in the quarantine system and get them rocking and rolling. So a ton of stuff to go for the winter. As you know, if you saw the short, there's an absolute ton of stuff going on in the aquarium and fish space in this winter. So I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.